Okay, let's just jump right in. What if I told you that you could tackle one of the most common fears out there, speaking in front of people, with a tiny exercise that takes just 2 minutes a day? We're about to break down a super powerful technique that completely reframes the whole problem.
And this, right here, gets to the absolute heart of it. The real fear, it's not about the words coming out of your mouth. It's that feeling of being judged, of being seen in a way you just can't control. And once you really get this one little shift in perspective, well, that's the key to everything.
So let's dig into what this whole fear of exposure thing really means. Because it's not about the microphone, it's not about the crowd, it's about what that spotlight feels like it's revealing.
And here's what that looks like in our heads, right? We're terrified that people are going to see us the way we see ourselves on our worst days. Not smart enough, not smooth enough, definitely not confident enough. It's the fear of our own insecurities being put on a giant public display. This fear leads us into a really predictable and, honestly, a damaging behavior. We create this trap for ourselves. We try to hide from that spotlight. But guess what? That hiding, that avoidance, that's exactly what gives the fear all its power. So here's the crucial point where we get it all wrong. We think the problem is the feeling of being scared. But the real problem, the thing that actually keeps us stuck in place, is the act of avoiding it. Every single time you say no to a chance to speak up, you're basically feeding that fear.
And what's driving all this avoidance? It's this obsession with being perfect. We tell ourselves, oh, I'll do it when I'm more prepared, or I'll speak up when I have the perfect thing to say. But here's the thing, waiting for perfect means you never actually do it. And doing it is the only way to build any real confidence.
Okay, so if avoidance is the real enemy, the solution has to be action. But don't worry, I'm not talking about some massive, terrifying leap. It's actually something incredibly small and totally manageable. Let's get into the 2-minute cure.
It is literally this simple. Just pick one single thought. Anything. Something you learned, an idea from a book, what you had for breakfast. Hit record on your phone's camera, talk about it for 2 minutes. Then stop. That's it. The simplicity is the entire point.
Now these rules, these are absolutely non-negotiable, and they're what make the whole thing work. No script means you have to be present and think on your feet. No editing and no deleting means you have to accept yourself as you are, imperfections and all. You're training yourself to just show up.
And that number right there, that's the magic. Just 2 minutes. It's so short, it's almost impossible to say you don't have time. Because with this method, it's all about being consistent, not about how long you do it for.
So why does this tiny little daily habit work so well? Let's get into the science behind it. It's all about completely flipping the script on how we think confidence is supposed to be built.
This is a fundamental shift, so really let this sink in. We're taught to think we need to feel confident before we can act. That is completely backwards. Confidence isn't something you wait around for. It's the result you get from taking action over and over again.
You know, your brain is basically a learning machine. It doesn't really care if you feel motivated or inspired today. It just learns whatever you do repeatedly. So by speaking for 2 minutes every single day, you are literally rewiring your brain to see this as normal and safe and totally familiar.
And this right here is the mantra. This is what you have to remember. You don't beat fear by thinking your way out of it. You beat it with exposure. And this little exercise is just a controlled daily dose of that exposure that proves to your brain again and again that you can show up even when you don't feel 100% ready.
Okay, so what does this actually look like in real life? What's going to feel like? Let's kind of map out what you can expect if you really commit to this for just 1 month.
Let's just be real for a second. The first few times you do this, it's gonna feel awkward. You're gonna stumble, you'll probably say a lot, and you might cringe watching it back. That discomfort, that's the feeling of growth. Embrace it. It means your brain is building new pathways.
And then you'll start to see some real, tangible progress. After just a few days, you'll probably notice your voice doesn't shake as much. After about a week, you'll find it's easier to pull your thoughts together. And by the end of the month, that fear that felt so huge, it starts to feel, well, kind of distant. And this brings us to the final goal, which might actually surprise you. The point isn't to become fearless. That's just an impossible standard. The real goal is to become familiar.
Familiarity just takes all the mystery out of the fear. Through this daily practice, you get used to the sound of your own voice. You get comfortable with the simple act of being seen and heard. And you even get familiar with that feeling of discomfort itself. And you realize it's not a threat.
It's just a feeling. So here's the bottom line. You don't have to wait for confidence to just magically appear. You can start building it right now with just your phone and 2 minutes of your day. The power to change your relationship with this fear is literally in your hands. The only real question is, are you going to press record?